What's up?
We're live.
We're live.
We're not live. We are.
Okay, we are live. There was a stare.
We're live.
There was
Okay, I feel a difference.
yeah, you could feel it.
Yeah,
The energy.
yeah. There's an energy shift.
There's
Yeah.
an energy.
Like I get heavier.
Because you're live.
Because you get lighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, immediately. Hi. My name is James Hamilton. This is.
Natasha Vaynblat.
And I'm CJ Hunt.
We are creating a live stream writers room. Thank you for tuning in and watching. We are filming a sketch on July 13th. This is our writers room to pitch and prepare for that. There are comments off to the side where you can say what you like, what you don't like, where you can, ask questions, things like that. Anything else?
Yeah, I would say I wish us luck. Maybe.
Yeah, if you want to wish us luck, but be nice.
Yeah, or talk politics.
Yeah, that's actually.
Yeah, lay it on the big beautiful bill.
Just see like where are you at with ICE and stuff.
Yeah.
We're really into hot takes.
Mhm.
We love hot. The hotter your take, the better.
The cooler our reception will be.
Yeah, for sure.
And I would say it's less even about what we create here and for the sketch and more about what people really get into in the comments politically.
Because that's really maybe where the sketch is going to come from,
Yes.
frankly.
Yeah.
We're here to help people. We're facilitating a discussion.
Yeah.
I feel like there's not a lot of that, on the
That's the
internet.
thing. There's not a lot of it.
Because once you recognize there's kind of a hole, you got to fill that hole.
That's the thing. People need to
Really-
talk, and
and
people
they don't-
haven't been talking.
Yeah, and they don't find a place to converse.
And I've been saying it since 2016, nonstop. We need comedy now more than ever.
Mhm.
Not more than ever. And people just
Yeah.
they need to have dialogue, and that's the problem. There's no spaces where people are meeting and sort of
And that's what this live stream is, a chance for the nation to come together, finally, and
just see what we agree on.
Talk it out. So we don't really know how this is going to go. We're going to do our
As you can
best
probably
here,
tell.
as you can probably tell. But we're going to do our best. We're going to pitch first. Who would like to pitch first?
I feel like you have yours open. Maybe we do one, like each pitch one, and then we pitch another.
I'm into
What do you
that.
think
Okay,
about
yeah, that sounds
so
great.
not everybody.
Because
else.
yours is open.
Because mine is open.
Yeah.
My laptop was. I would say I pitch last because mine is closed.
Yours is the hardest.
You have a
to get to.
screen, but all it says is "we're."
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Yeah.
I would
It's
say,
supposed to be we're live.
Yeah. Yeah, gotta write it
and
out.
that's ADHD right there in the flesh. Show don't tell.
That's so true about my notes.
You're just writing what's going on. What you're
Yeah.
hearing?
Or I'll just random words that I pick. I'll be like, good to be here.
Are you someone
We
who?
won't finish.
Are you someone who? Do you sign your name over and over? Do you do signature?
No.
No,
It'll
he
just be-
forges other people's signatures.
Right.
I just worked
Yeah.
on others. So
Yeah.
like that's my father's.
I grew up really wanting to be a professional basketball player, so I used to practice my signature all the time. I thought people were going to want it.
Never went to the basketball court.
Never went to the court. Couldn't.
But I knew the signatures.
The signature was on part. Was on point.
What do you mean my son's not on varsity? He works every night in his room at his desk.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my. This is my first idea. I know that this idea would be funnier if we had kid actors, but I think
So you prefer children?
so. I prefer children.
Interesting.
Pervert. Yeah, get it down. Get
Pervert.
it down.
He only wrote pervert.
Yeah. No, but I think we could still do this as sort of like a game night, adult game night sort of thing, which is fracking the board game. I'm imagining that this is like a game night group. Then one person has brought one friend, maybe a new significant other, into the group. And someone is like, this is a game that we always play. This would require making an actual board, but I think, which I think would be easy enough on something, but essentially like as you're moving, there is, we're happening upon, if you get a benefit, the objective of the game is to become an energy tycoon through fracking. Okay. It's a board game where that is the thing.
Can that also be like the description on the box?
Yeah. Become an energy tycoon through fracking. Yeah. Points are counted through billions of smackers. or dollars, you know, but it's billions of dollars. Everything is through billions.
Is the idea that it's so like fracking is not at all for like it's going to be really sad and complicated?
Yeah, it's going to
or bad, like both. Like
the human truth is that fracking isn't for kids.
Right.
Like that's sort of the thing that we're pulling out.
Yeah.
Because smackers to me, I'm like that doesn't apply to fracking. You know what I mean? So is the idea that it could be both?
Yeah. So the idea. Well, I'll walk you through the game, and then we can answer that because I think that's a good question.
Yeah.
So it would be somebody rolls a dice, they move their piece, which we could figure out what the pieces are. But they move their piece, they land on something, which could be as simple as you have to draw a setback card, which is by a U.S. senator. It costs $2 billion. So then you lose $2 billion, right? So then if you go, and then maybe if you land on one of the benefit spots, it says a Republican gets elected governor in your state, collect $5 billion. Then the other person would get it and it'd say a Democrat gets elected governor in your state, collect $2.5 billion. Just a little less.
Wow. That's real?
No, I'm just joking.
Now I'm like, I feel like there's already sub games too, because I'm like, as I'm listening to this, I'm like, wait, do I even know what fracking is? So maybe one is like, is there a person there who fully doesn't understand what fracking is? Two versus a person who's like, this game is good because I'm like learning about fracking.
Yeah.
I like the idea that there's a scientist who's like, their only job is to remind people what fracking is.
Yeah, that's
a separate day right there.
So then there is one there. One of the spots is called PR Nightmare, which is when you land on it and it gives you a controversy, and then you have to stand up and explain why your company actually didn't make a mistake. So, for example, you set a family's water on fire in a small town, and then you have to stand up and say, essentially, there's no proof that we set the water on fire. I heard those parents worship the devil, so it's actually their parenting. And then the idea is that the tone of the whole game night is like very joyful, drunk game night style, but it's just very like bleak fracking things.
So are people aware that it's bleak as they're playing, or they're like, it's fun?
I was imagining that everyone thinks this is super fun, and that only the like new significant other who is there is the one who's just like, this isn't fun.
I like it as like, you know that there's like expansion packs where people are like, I've played Pandemic expansion pack and me and my closest people play this. It takes 2 months to play. Like that feels like a very clear like SNL style setup that it's like a new boyfriend and it's to their friend group and their friend group has been playing fracking the board game.
So is he the voice of reason? It's like, guys, this is sad. This isn't fun.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Yeah. And the angle
like it feels like this is glorifying something that's actually like not.
Yeah. And they're like, no, it's fun.
It's a game,
like,
John.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Pandemic. That's a game.
Exactly.
Monopolies. There's nothing fun about Monopoly.
Yeah. There's nothing fun about Monopoly. This is just that, but for the breaking of shale below the Earth's surface.
I also like that the group knows a ton about fracking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's helpful too, because am like, what is?
They're like,
fracking?
I think the problem, John, is
like
that you don't
part of our stuff game. Is Natasha being like, the problem?
Because I'm like trying to pitch ideas, and I'm like, I don't even know what fracking is. I just know it's bad.
And then let's all say what we think fracking is.
Great.
Okay. I'll start.
Yeah.
I think fracking is a form of mining natural gas out of the ground by pumping chemicals, like by pumping water and chemicals into the ground.
Yes.
And the water and chemicals are often very toxic.
Yes. And it can cause seismic like issues. It can cause like earthquakes because you're essentially putting water and gases down into the earth in order to get other things to come up.
I'm like, okay, or we can play shoots and ladders. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's
I really like that the sub game in it is how hard it is for most people to explain what fracking is.
Also to explain games at game night. Like in general, that it is kind of being like, I'm sorry. In the game, fracking's good.
In the game, yes.
In the game, yes. In the game, yeah.
And I think even like someone being like, wait, what is fracking? And then one of you is like, oh, awesome. That's actually one of the ways to get more points is we go around and say what fracking is. That's like in the game.
One of the ways is like we actually all explain the sort of science of fracking. And then like as we're explaining it, we have like little cards like BP, like as if we're like testifying.
Yeah.
And people are like, wait, you're explaining the science of it, but are you paid by BP? And it's like, yes.
Yeah, I think the more layers to it and the more I think the game starts to just go off the rails where it's like everything is part of the game too, could be really fun.
That's fun.
I think fracking has to do with friction. That's all I have. And
so when people are talking
shale,
about
it, I guess because you said it earlier, or slate. What did you say?
Shale.
There we go. So I also add shale to my definition.
Yeah. We got Sarah here.
Right. Okay.
We're building a board game right now.
Okay, great.
Sure.
So the sketch idea is that this is game night with friends. They are playing a game that.
So for people on the live stream, Sir, our producer, just held up a card that said, "What is the sketch?"
And said,
So
"You've built a good board game."
Yeah.
Which
also by copyright law is ours. You're not allowed to make this board game and make money off of it.
Yeah.
I guess the game or the sketch is game night playing the saddest, most complicated board game.
Yeah.
Fish out of water at a friend's game night.
Yes.
Saddest, most complicated game. They all understand the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the human truth being like when you go to a game night and everyone knows what it is, and you're having to be like, yeah, sure, okay, yeah.
That's fun.
Okay, all right.
That's great.
I think we can keep moving because if the
wanna
sketch
say-
isn't even clear,
I do want to say I do like my favorite part of it is like the blending of what is real and not real at the end. So the like zoom out being like what is the reason that this group plays this game?
Yeah.
You know, like one of their parents comes home and is like an oil magnate.
Yeah,
or this is
totally.
like, they get paid to play this game in new company.
Yeah.
Or one of like the fish out of water actually did call a senator. They're like, that wasn't part of the game. You're like, but it was one of the cards to call a senator and say I want fracking in my area.
Yeah. Cool. Great.
Okay, here's mine. Okay, so we know how self-driving cars, they're becoming a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Everyone loves self-driving cars. And so
Everyone.
And I feel like there's like new Teslas, right? We're going to be like on robo-taxis in Austin, Texas recently. So I was like, okay, it would be funny if it's, there's like robo-taxis coming to a new area or something, or like some area is about to get self-driving cars. And it is one of those like, people in the town being like pro or anti, you know, it's like, I'm really excited about these self-driving cars. I'm not. And one of the guys,
like a town hall style.
Like a town hall, or even just a meeting. If we're limited to like a living room, right? It's like, you know, a meeting, like some sort of small community meeting. And one of the dissenters, he doesn't like self-driving cars because one of them stole his wife. His wife fell in love
with a self-driving car.
Complaints are like, and what happens when the car starts spreading lies about you that your wife starts to believe?
I love that. I love especially.
And you're the guy, obviously.
This is my style. I also love that the idea that it unfolds like very innocently. You know, but like some people are like, I don't like the idea that like if a self-driving car gets in an accident, we don't know who's liable. And it's and then the first time the guy speaks up and he's like, and when the self-driving car is talking to you or your wife, how do you know that that's reliable? You know, the things that it's saying about you.
Here's the quote I wrote. A self-driving car stole my wife. At first, I thought my wife just loved driving hands-free. But then she started spending hours in the car late at night. When I asked her what she was doing, she would just laugh and say, not driving. And one day she was gone.
Wow. Yeah.
It makes me think like the straight person.
Yeah.
Is either like the community or it's like a representative from the company is like, I'm sorry. So your concern is not, your concern is a safety concern. Yes, emotional safety.
I also think it would be funny if
But also I did have to move out. So it says The car is living.
The car is living in my house. The car has everything.
The car has everything.
If you see a car out in a Ralph Lauren sport coat, that used to be mine.
If we see headlights blinking at the end of the sketch. He's here.
I think
He's followed me. You
He's
know.
gonna think I'm Sharon.
I think in terms of like the structure as well.
Sharon's her wife. Sharon's there. That's another Sharon.
Sharon's there.
And
Well,
she's so hot.
I was going to say that she's so hot. I was going to say, I think people in the audience slowly becoming more and more concerned about what he's saying.
Yeah.
That they're buying into the thing.
Yeah.
That they're like, well, you're telling me that this car is smart enough to not hit anyone on the road. Easy that it would be smart enough to steal our spouses.
Yes.
Like this feels believable.
Yes, if it can tell about surprise objects in the road 2 yards ahead, it can certainly tell if you've been neglecting your wife because your work is incredibly important to you because it's like a sensitive time at work.
It made playlists of songs she loves.
It knows everything she loves. Wow, that's
That'd be
great.
funny.
Yeah, I think that's very funny.
It has special features that it only unlocks for her. It'll heat and vibrate the seat, and that's nowhere in the manual.
That is funny too, where it's like, it wouldn't let me in the car.
Yeah. And then when I finally got in the car, it just took me to a random lot, and the door flew open, and it just wouldn't leave until I got out.
It whipped me real. You know how the highway sometimes on a mountain, sometimes the highway will curve on a mountain. It took me along there and whipped open the door,
And I
flew out.
He's been in a sling this whole time.
Yeah, he's.
Neck brace.
Or you can have reveals that he's in a neck brace, but then when he gets up, he's like, "Look, I won't." Wow, that's great.
Yeah, I think that's very funny. I think that
I
would
need
be.
to write all of this down.
I also think we're filming this sketch in one day. So in terms of, I think this is something we could do in one day. I think this could be one location.
It's great.
And, it would be the type of thing that we could do with as many or as few people as we wanted.
I love that
Or
we
needed.
just need like a boring municipal location with it, like that can stand in for like church basement. It could be like any
kind of community room.
And the idea that like whoever introduces him, it's like, hey everyone, like I'm Marcus from Ford Electric. I know that there's a lot of concerns about us taking the grid self-driving. I just want to make myself, available. You can do singles on everybody. Like one person has a kid and one person's like, but then the guy in the neck brace from the beginning
It's hard. No.
Nope.
I love that too because you think it's gonna be like, oh, he got into an accident, he got hit by a self-driving car,
Wow.
and the turn that it's like, no, it stole his wife.
Sorry, sir, you got hurt by a self-driving car? Yep,
Yeah.
long story.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, big time.
Again
My
and
life
again.
is ruined.
The thing is, I don't think it's sexual. I think it's chiefly about intimacy, and that's what scares me. It's a place I could never go with her.
Okay, great.
Okay. All right, here we go.
Oh, real quick before we go. Sir, do we have any questions or anything? Are we cruising?
No one's
In it.
in it. I mean, no one's interacting.
Okay, cool.
So the 4 viewers, if they wanna.
All right, we're going to keep going.
Great. Okay. All right.
Okay.
This is a baby shower where one of the guests, played by Natasha, keeps talking about how hot the baby is probably going to be.
You just as an adult, based on we know
We know
Randy is hot, we know Megan is hot.
So why is that crazy to say?
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
It's it's perfect for Natasha's energy. It's all women, maybe a couple of guys gathered around the mom to be. They're opening presents, right? So you can picture it sort of linearly. One of the gifts is shoes for the baby boy that they're about to have. It's a pair of baby sneakers, and someone makes a joke. It's well, if this kid looks anything like Randy, he's gonna have to use those shoes to run away from all the girls. So like someone gets like cred early, and everyone's like, oh yeah, Randy is hot.
Oh, okay.
And then you dig in, and you're like, oh yeah, this baby's gonna be smoking hot, like a straight up 10.
Yeah.
And everyone's like,
Can't wait.
everyone's like, what do you mean you can't wait?
Well, I mean, just to see how hot the baby is.
Yeah. Okay.
As an adult.
Yeah, but you can tell pretty early.
Anyways, this next one is from Sharon, and I think it's maybe a blanket, and like Natasha keeps going, and it's like, well, I'm just saying because it's gonna have Carol's eyes and Randy's sort of long, beautiful hair. He's also probably gonna have his own sort of little like sexy sort of je ne sais quoi. You know what I mean? As an adult, sort of a devil may care.
Kinda,
sort of dangerous thing going
on. I'm thinking probably a lot of he's probably going to do a lot of stuff like on yachts, is what I'm guessing. Just kind of like shirtless on yachts. That seems like what the guy is going to be like.
Okay, so anyways, this one I think is a rattle.
And how is it? Is it that Natasha just thinks the couple is hot, or is it that does she like have feelings for one of them?
This is how the reveal keeps going. Like it keeps heightening with like other things, and Natasha being like, well, this is my number. Give it to the kid when he turns 18, 19. All right. And I hope I don't have to fight you ladies. I hope I don't have to fight you ladies off. And everyone's like, what is happening right now? And Natasha sort of the turn line is being like, I don't think it's weird. We all know what the couple looks like. Mm-hmm. Everyone's been saying that this baby's going to be beautiful. Why is it weird for me to say, I hope he's 7'2", built like a house, and has long, beautiful hair that flows down to his butt? Why is that weird to say? And then she starts getting like overly specific in being like, look, he's not going to be like that immediately. There's going to be a period where the baby's bald. Okay, we all know that. We know how babies work. There's going to be a period.
He's going to grow hair, and it's going to be luscious and beautiful.
It's going to be luscious and beautiful, but there is going to be a gap that's going to be hard for everyone.
So what do you
where the baby is just doesn't have that hair and is just going to be bald, and there's going to be sort of a gap there that needs coverage. And at this moment, James is like, I can't believe you're doing this here. And you're like, I'm saying the baby's going to be beautiful, but it's going to be bald at first, and it's not going to have the hair that we wish it had. And then James is like, is this about your company? And you're like, I don't know. And then it turns out that Natasha has a company that sells baby wigs. And this is her present is just a briefcase with like some different samples that she has. And this is why she's been talking about how hot the baby could be, but the strange gap that there's going to be where the baby doesn't have the muscles, doesn't have the hair, doesn't have the outfit, and her sort of company, has a lot of products that can help the baby get there.
Yeah.
This changes it maybe too much, but I'm like, is it okay? I guess my thought is, but then at some point someone's going to be like, Megan, you sound like a pedophile. Right? Like it's someone has
Somebody
to be
has
like,
to call it out.
You are,
even though she's been saying it when it's an adult.
But I mean, even 19, I'm like, that is
yeah,
so
that's not
young.
And that'd be like, Megan, you'll be 63.
Yeah, like it's still a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
It's like, sure, it's legal, but it's like not
ethically,
ethical.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, it's about business.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one thought. My other thought is like, is this maybe changes it too much? But I'm like, it's so funny that she's selling wigs for babies.
Yes.
It's different, but it's her being like, yeah, it's going to be so beautiful. It is a shame for now, though. Right?
Yeah.
It's a shame that there's that ugly period. And everyone's like, no, that's actually how babies are, And it's like, God, don't you wish, though?
Yeah. I think this is a gentler way in, because
yes.
I think that for it to read predatory, is people won't stick around to the end. But the fact that you're selling muscles and wigs and like general stylish gear for babies is
because it's going to be a while until he has that stuff.
Right. And so Natasha is just being despairing and trying to talk him down. And then instead of saying like, "Hey, Randy's hot," I think it's like, "Well, it's not going to be very strong." You can see how Randy
it's not just wigs; it's all stuff.
Mainly, I just picture that it's a briefcase full of small wigs for babies.
Because I think once you do muscles, then it's like we're doing little buttons.
Yeah. I thought he'd said muscles, but I
did. But he was just kind of drooling while talking. He was getting so turned on.
Well, yeah. The idea that there's like Harley Davidson like jewelry and like boots and tough guy stuff.
Yeah. But then I'm like, that's the best baby of the year.
Yeah, it's baby of the year.
But I think little wigs for ugly bald babies is really funny.
Particularly,
I have a comment for our first one.
Oh boy.
We have from Felipe. I imagine a thematic kit of baby wigs based on soccer players' haircuts, and I want one, please.
Wow.
Okay.
So,
all right. So we just got a comment. It was, you said Felipe?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. I'm trying to pull up the comments here, but that these are soccer players' hairstyles. I think what I really like about that is the more like over the top and or recognizable that the wigs are, the more funny I think it could be.
And I think it would be like, there's a different line. It's like, especially if you're like, you want your baby to be a soccer player. Well, actually, I've got all of these wigs are actually based on like the hottest soccer players I know.
And I like the more specific that we can get with it too, with people being like, but I'm having a boy, so like these appear to be like baby wigs for adult women baby wigs. It's like, no, this is for men with very long hair.
Yeah.
And
which is the most attractive kind of man. Which is what you want.
I think that needs to be a very clear part of her.
It's like,
that she pictures a man
like
who's 7'2".
Like Fabio but a baby, essentially.
She pictures a man that's 7'2" and his hair down to his butt.
She holds up like a romance novel cover.
Yes.
She's like, yeah, but imagine. So it's like, can you get all that, but on a baby?
Yes.
I also think if somebody else has given there's a frame of maybe the ultrasound that someone has been like, this was her first picture or his first picture, and they're giving, and you're like, that's ugly. And then later when some things are going, it's clearly you with like an expo marker drawing on longer hair or something that you can't.
I'm sorry, guys. Who did this?
Don't you just hate bald guys?
I guess the real question is this already a real thing? Are there
wigs for babies?
Yeah, I'm just asking.
There's no way that's
I'm just asking.
And that's what I asked myself. And then I was shocked to find out it wasn't a real thing. And that's when I decided to come up with this idea.
Yes, that's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But also, the way in, even though we don't want to make it predatory, this is a thing, though, that people will say about babies.
Yes.
Like my little brother,
so handsome.
there was a girl in my class who was like, give him my number when he gets old enough. And I'm like, we are peers.
Yeah.
He's going to be so... And I do think that there is a joke to be made before it gets insane about how weird people will get about being like, well, if he looks like you guys, he's going to be a looker. The girls are going to be galling it. It's like, what's wrong with you?
Yes, that is really true.
Right.
And a really good observation. Yeah. It's like, oh my God, he's going to be...
See, like the way that people do about like little boys, they're like, "Ooh, look at him be handsome," and like it's one step off to be like, "Yeah, he's gonna be hot."
He's gonna be hot.
Is it funny though to have the other people at the party be saying the things like that, and Natasha is trying to be like, but not at first.
Yeah.
So that Natasha isn't the one who's having to drive.
Yeah.
All the levels of absurdity, but that other people are being like, gonna be a looker, gonna have their, looks, and Natasha being like, not for a while.
But Natasha would set the template early. Oh, with the eyes and the long hair.
And the long hair.
Maybe curly long hair.
Maybe like
big swoop
really long.
And she's just describing what's in her case. or short if he's in business. Look, even the way she speaks is like, yeah, I guess he might have short hair if he's into business.
Yeah, probably comes with a little comb.
That'd be nice. We're not gonna have it right away though.
Yeah, that's kind of. I got a prototype, but yeah.
I think it's funny.
Great.
I think particularly as a piece for Natasha, I think that's what I think would be fun, is you being the crazy person.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But I will say, production-wise, how do we get a bunch of little wigs?
Also, is this close
Baby wigs and a briefcase
to Stanza Fedora hats? Where he's trying, this is as a Tim Robinson thing.
Okay.
Where he's trying to gear the party towards his business.
Yeah. I wonder how often we're gonna have this problem, but yes.
Yeah.
No, I don't think it's too much. What I like about it is Natasha as fish out of water in the culture of a baby shower that is all women.
And I do think you're right, where it's like, it is a really apt observation that the way people talk, the line is so weird, because it's like, if you explore that logic, it's like, what are you talking about? Like, it's just a tiny baby. What do you like?
Like, why is that even a thought?
Why is that even a weird? It's a weird, It's
a
weird.
And just so, like, just the one step above about being like, he is gonna be looker, strong, that long hair is just enough to make people go, what?
Thus, I think it's different than the fedora, because nobody wants fedora, but this is like touching on a truth that is, everyone talks about how beautiful the kid will be later.
Yeah.
Or it's like, hey, what if you could have that right now?
I also love that, like, this is your business, that you say yes to all these baby showers in order to do this.
I thought she was your friend.
No one knew her. You're doing your Kaiser Soze walk to your car. And it's like a really good car. I also like the idea that we flip some of the people who are the straight people in it too, that there are mothers who are like, they do stay bald for a long time.
Yeah, that would be funny.
It's hideous.
Yeah.
My car has to have those eyelashes. It has to be. That's so true for that woman.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I wanted to have so much money in like a roll.
Wait, her wig falls off.
Sir, did you say we have a? No.
Okay.
All right. We'll keep going.
Back around the horn? Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Okay.
Maybe just talk to the audience about we can try incorporating ideas. Just a reminder.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. So just a reminder, everybody's watching at home. You can drop in the chat if there's one of the ideas that you like, or if you would like a certain thing to happen. Or
if you like produce a lot of small wigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if you know where we can get our hands on baby wig. I would say infant wig.
Or if you know much about fracking, because we're lacking in that knowledge. And so to make that sketch come through, that would be helpful.
Or if you design board games.
That one's true.
That's
if you
true.
design board games, that would actually be helpful.
That would actually be great.
Okay. All right. I have been wanting to make a sketch for a while about a family-run furniture store called Jungle Emporium Furniture, where it was previously run by their dad, or by the dad of the family, and his whole gimmick was that he had like wild exotic animals just roaming the sales floor. But he very publicly was mauled to death by a group of lionesses. And so this is a sketch of his son and his son's wife trying to reopen the store. So I am imagining it that they, I think we can play with like having a camera like in it that we're shooting a commercial for, that we can go from that actual angle of the camera, have another camera that's then looking at the camera, and then I'll explain. But I think the idea is we could have the first thing where they essentially say the line of like, come on down to Jungle Emporium Furniture. It's never been more affordable to make your house a home. And then we cut out and they're like, okay, I think we got it. We're going to grab some socials. and then I think we can call it for the day.
Mhm.
So then the social media manager comes in and is holding, just holding up the camera or the phone, and is just being like, okay, so what is something that people don't know about the opening of Jungle Emporium Furniture? And then they just keep coming back to, well, his dad used to own the store, but you know him from the commercials where he was surrounded by the lionesses, dozens of them. And he was, of course, mauled to death by lionesses on the storeroom floor. You saw the news story. Anyway, so we're launching again. Come on down. None of that anymore. We're not allowed. No snakes, no dart frogs, even though they brought in a lot of foot traffic. But, come on down. And then they're like, they have to pull out. You have the social media manager kind of being like, okay, authenticity is high, really nice. But, maybe we do ones a little more structured. Maybe like, what are 5 things you'll see at Jungle Emporium Furniture's grand opening?
I'll tell you what you won't see.
Yeah. That's actually what
my dad.
Yeah, exactly. I have like rock bottom prices and all your favorite brands. And not my dad. You will not. I'll tell you what you won't see. Because of the mauling.
Right.
Which you saw the news story.
You certainly won't see a puddle and a rib cage that used to belong to my dad. Because that is what I saw.
Yeah.
So why did he? And that's something that I guess should come out in the sketch. Why did the dad have all of these animals? Like, why did he think it was a good idea to have that in a furniture store? They're gonna claw everything and like get all their.
He thought it was a way to get people in the door.
Mm-hmm. Did it? Well, yeah. It's like, and it did get people in the door. I mean, they never came out of the door.
A lot.
This is loosely based on, and if anyone from Colorado where I grew up, and I'm sure other places too, but this is loosely based on Jake Jabs, the guy who runs American Furniture Warehouse. If Jake Jabs is watching, drop in the comments. He's the guy who runs American Furniture Warehouse, and he would always do commercials with lions or tigers, like
in the furniture store
on the couch with him. And
that's insane.
But
and
of
if
course,
you came to the store, they would be there.
No.
Okay.
No. That's where this one is going. I just saw that, and I was always like, what if Jake Jabs got Grizzly Man? Like the documentary Grizzly Man. If we just had, if everyone knew that those lionesses had mauled him to death, and then his kids had to restart the business, and they're having to repeatedly be like, I love it, no animals. But the idea is that he just took that too far, where he just thought this would be a thing that was okay. Is that birds flying around? But the question. This is the logic.
No, question. But that's good. I think even just being like that is a way to get people in the door. Yeah, I get that.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing. That I grew up in Massachusetts, and they had Jordan's Furniture, which had I never went in, but I'd heard that it had a roller coaster and all sorts of spectacle stuff, and they'd be open late at night, and they'd be shooting
in the furniture.
They'd be shooting lasers into the sky. So this world of we did a gimmick to get you into the furniture store. Everyone knew us for this gimmick, and that's what took my father's life. And we know that since you all saw my dad get mauled to death by those lionesses, everyone's been wondering, when are they going to reopen?
Yeah. That's fun.
And also, there's something really deep about Jungle Emporium Furniture now without the animals.
Yeah.
You're picturing that they have to say no animals.
Yes, they have to constantly be we don't even own those animals anymore. They were taken. They were taken.
They were
all terminated.
Yeah. Not
even the birds.
Not unlike my dad.
Even the birds had to be terminated.
They went quietly and peacefully. Let me tell you, not like my dad.
No. I saw it. I don't know if I mentioned. I was there and I saw it.
Yeah. So the device that I'm interested in playing with in this one is that we can play with the different cameras that are in frame. So if we're using in frame, they've been shooting a local commercial. So there's a camera pointed at them, and we're seeing that. But then the social media person steps in, and then we could cut to showing it through the camera as it would be cut on the phone, right? So
but the comedy comes from the heightened sadness of the reality of what happened.
And the fact that it's such a glaring thing that happened that everyone knows that they kind of can't not bring it up. And also that's their whole branding. So previously.
The commercial keeps getting sad. They keep making the commercial sad. Is that part of it?
I think that was the idea.
Uh-huh.
I think is I think is that they keep going to this place.
I'm just trying to think how to heighten.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
I also am thinking about Show Don't Tell, about like I want to see clips of the dad and the thing, and so like even with this idea of like, okay, we're shooting for July 15th in mind, I'm like, I think we would have to make a decision about like how do you make it as shootable and short as possible.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually think it has the bones for like a fake doc or a
that's what I
like or even like a pilot or like a film short. Like the things that you're saying is kind of in our zone of like
a pilot.
Jungle Emporium reopens now without the animals, like the legacy of like how do I offer a thing that my dad did, but it has none of the thing that my dad. It's like very Arrested. It's like deep and funny and very like still hunting vibes. So. I'm like, if we try to do it on the 13th, I think we might like shortchange it. Mm-hmm. But I also don't want to be planning a movie for everything.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think so. I had definitely thought about this as a sort of like a documentary style, even if it was a doc trailer.
Yes.
But what I was trying to do with this as the form was trying to simplify so that we aren't having to figure out like what is the security cam footage of him getting mauled and how are we showing that and like what's the graphics person and how so I was trying to be like, is this a form in which we could play with this idea as simply as possible? Yeah. But I do think that that's the heart of it.
Right, like when I picture it.
Yeah. So, but even that, I'm like, I don't even know how we would do that in like a doc, like a short doc.
Yeah.
Or mockumentary. But yeah. But
I think it would be heavily character based.
Mm-hmm.
Like it'd be like a Vanessa Gonzalez being like the gum snake man Jake. Mm-hmm. 30% of my snakes went down when Jungle Emporium went down. I tell you, it used to be great. You could go see and then see two crocodiles in a rocking chair. It's like kind of a character parade.
Yeah. Okay. I see that. I think that's a good point. Yeah. I think that's good.
And then for the animal footage, we would like you would have the VFX person like sub in animals for like 2 things. Yeah, just to like, what's the minimal for the lion sequence or? Yeah.
Okay.
Just for this, I know we're like done, but just for the sake of like pitching another angle where I'm like, because the truth of it is people have crazy gimmicks, right? Mm-hmm. To get people in furniture stores. Or I'm like, what is your instinct when I pitch this? Which is you're actively pitching this, like it is a commercial for the opening of this store, but we keep cutting back to, and it's like, because animals keep killing people and ruining stuff. It's like, you keep cutting, like now the commercial is like, okay, we don't have that sofa anymore, okay? And Linda is not with us, but come on down. We've got
Come on down, but give us a little time.
Yeah. But you're gonna love it. Hey, Rick's got roller coasters in his store. You want live action? Yeah. How about a python and you don't even know where it is?
Cut.
Where is it?
Okay, we don't have a python anymore.
Yeah, and we also don't have Carrie is no longer at the furniture store. So we're actually also hiring. Yeah. We're hiring and we're selling.
Yeah. And the last one is him just walking. Okay. We're out of there, but I still got good taste in furniture.
Because then you could cut. I just feel like now I know how to heighten. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it really solves that. Yeah.
And now I'm like, you cut back and there's just bandage, there's just scrape. So you don't even need to show like off screen. I hear a lion roar.
Because they wouldn't put that on the commercial.
They wouldn't.
But they're trying to cover their asses on.
I love it.
Put it on the commercial.
And there's it's a consistency joke. It's like, look at that leather. And then you cut to the chair, and then you cut back to him, and he's like bandaged.
Don't look at the leather. You don't need a leather couch.
Yeah. What do you think if it starts with like one person doing these commercials, telling the story like you're talking about, then suddenly that person is not doing the commercial, and it's their kid who's being like, "We're reopening after the incident with my father."
Funny.
Like we could push this so that it keeps like we're really telling like a long story of what this happened.
And I really love how surprising that is, because at first you're like, you see the sketch with the crazy dad who's got this gimmick store, and then cut to somebody else, you find out it's his kid. I love that reveal.
I'm thinking about
like,
the technical.
Now I don't know what the rules of it are.
I think we would need a furniture store type setup. We would need like 2 or 3 practical animals, like a bird and something else, and then you could Photoshop in VFX, like the tiger. Like, how would we do the animals element of it? They would constantly be off screen?
I think so, especially if you do it social media style. It's like, hey guys, what's up? This is like Rick. I'm just popping on Instagram Live to let you know. I think you could get away with not having to show a furniture store and not having.
I also think you could be doing green screen of animals as well. That's a big part of it. Sura is our producer who tells us when to rein it in, which we appreciate. Do you have any thoughts on what CJ said about like how would we convey the animal part? Do we need to show the animal part?
I think you're both on the right track. I think sound will play a huge part of it, sound design, and also there's something about the idea that is suspending reality anyway. But it can live in gimmicky. It can have a little bit of reach. Like, I can't show you it. It's not here. Pull up the roll tape on this animal type of thing that you can lean into not having that, and it's part of the
I almost now picture just like one of us, just like you put like a furry lion hand on, you know what I mean? And it's like the furniture guy's just talking to the camera, and there is like just a lion hand that he's just batting at it, with a throw pillow.
An ape hand.
Okay,
Miss Marcy. Okay.
Yeah. That's really
That's
fun.
really funny.
And I think the pace of the edit would also do very well on mine.
Yes,
So it feels world building in a way that could queue up later, making like a short doc about it at some point when we have more time. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, my turn?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to remind you, my first sketch made sense and we liked it.
Okay. Well, my first one did not. So I bounced back round 2.
Yeah, so this is
your first sketch made sense.
It
We
did.
just don't know enough about
Right, to like hit you jokes.
Yeah. Okay.
I had to do a little research beforehand. Okay, so I don't even know how to pitch this well. Okay. Maria Randazzo, who's an incredible comedian who we all know, has this incredible talent where she can make all sorts of fart noises, and they're so real and good.
With her mouth.
Okay. To the point where she was over and I had my eyes closed and she would fart mouth in my ear, and I was like, it feels like the fart is real and it's happened. Okay. So I was like, It's almost.
We knew she was talented. But
Wow.
Is next level.
So I was like, it's close-up magic, but for farts.
Okay.
Okay. So the idea is it's a close-up magician, but just for farts. And that all he does is you close your eyes, or Marina should play it. You close your eyes, Maria will fart in your ear, and you're like, that's incredible. You open your eyes, you're like, it sounded real. And maybe Maria is booked with like a close-up magician, and everyone's like, yeah, but the fart, like, that's awesome. And it
that's funny.
but that's all I have.
I love
That's all I have.
I love if I'm picturing the format is like a David Blaine, David Blaine promo. Like, you've thought you've seen Illusion, but you've never seen someone like this. But they give the premise early. It's close-up magic, but for fun.
And it's just, literally every time it's just someone with their eyes closed, Maria farts in their ear, and they open their eyes, and they're like, that's incredible.
So
was that real? That was real.
That felt real.
No, it was my mouth.
Do we like it better? Do we like it better as everyone is wowed by it?
Yeah.
Or would it be funnier if they paid for a close-up magician who brought his friend, and he's like, I'm trying to get him off the ground, and I'm trying to give him some stage time, use my platform, and so then to get people to close their eyes, or, like once it's his turn, he's like, everyone needs to close your eyes, close your eyes, close your eyes. Come on, close your eyes. And then slowly people are like, that is crazy.
To be honest, I'm like, both are really funny. My instinct is
Also, I haven't heard the farts, so it might be so real.
And they're so. She's got a catalog. You can literally be like, I want a wet one that turns dry, and she can fully. I can't even do it. I can't. So you can like. It is her skill set is impressive. One, two. I'm like, it would be funny if she's doing a David Blaine type character, or like not David Blaine. I'm thinking of who's the one that's really gothic?
Chris Angel.
Yeah.
It's Chris Angel, but she's that, but for farts. So a commercial does feel funny to me where everyone is blown away. Literally.
Like when when
but the other one works too.
Like when Koza shows us, our friend Koza, he shows us he loves David Blaine, and he'll show us things like David Blaine and the Frogs or whatever, and it's always like famous people around like Drake and Chappelle. Part of the thing is people being like, no, oh my God. So I just love the viewer watching this thing that they would normally think is stupid, but everyone on screen in this room or in this montage that we do are just revealing how impressed they are.
Yeah.
And we continue to be like, I don't know how to describe it. I guess it's like magic. It's like a magic, but for farts.
Like I know the fart's not real, but when I close my eyes, I feel that the fart is real.
I think this is really funny. An incredible skill that I did not know that she had. I think my only question is is it going to translate through video? Because it's probably different when you're in person. And the idea that this could be sound design would, I think, diminish the impact to like.
That's such a great point.
Because if the craziness is how accurate this is, like that suddenly it's like, make this noise for me, and then everyone's like, wait, did you just do that in post?
I think we can really heighten with like a genre mash. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So write your name on this for me, please.
Mm-hmm.
What's your name?
I'm Natasha.
Great. And where are you from?
Virginia.
And everyone's like, whoa! And you're like, it wasn't me.
But it sounded like it came from me.
And then we're having like a thing of just being like, like.
To be fair though, I also now I'm like, but I think the other part's funny too, where it's like, if it's a magic show or it's like a party and it's like, and there is a real magician, he's like, and my friend, I'm like just helping her get off the ground. So she does, she's like, I'm a close up. Yeah, I do close up magic with farts. And people do love her. Maybe it's like, and he's getting upset because
she's too good.
She's too good. I don't know. Both are funny to me.
I mean, I think
really funny with James as like the guy who just did close up magic for us, and that's the beginning of the sketch, impressive. And you're like, okay, thank you. Next up is this person, and the idea of James being like, I'm sorry, how was that?
Yeah. And she's like, I can, if you want to request a part, I can probably do that too.
All I want to do is feature this skill the best way possible.
Yeah.
I think that there's also on TikTok. There's always
maybe we just do it like before at the beginning of the sketch. No sound design was used.
No sound design was used.
Just on black screen.
Yeah. That's really funny. I was gonna say, on like TikTok, there's always, or at least in my TikTok feed, there's always a thing where like one musician is sitting and playing, they're being interviewed, and there's somebody else who's then watching them and then responding. So it's like a kind of an interview thing.
Yeah.
Is this one of those where it's essentially like she's being asked to play the greatest hits? It's not as funny as the magic one because it's not as dynamic, but I'm like, I just want it to feel like this is a real skill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, okay.
That's a great question.
I think this is very fun. And I also am excited about working with Maria as well. That would be fun.
It's a phenomenal skill. If anything, we should just have her come over and do it.
Yeah. If anything, next live stream.
Yeah.
What I like about it is that it immediately is captivating. My mind is like, what kind of farts could I ask?
Any kind.
Yeah.
Loop, like it will have loops. You'll hear it and you're like, it's crazy.
Like you could say like, try to do it quiet in a meeting. It keeps going.
Yes.
It gives you away.
Yes. Yes, that's the
Wow.
kind of request she can handle.
Wow.
Something to add to that, because the sketch is going to get live streamed, you're seeing that's happening in real time.
Yeah, that's true.
Ah.
Yeah, we are going to be live streaming. There's 2 people here, but
Wow.
we are going to be live streaming the day that we shoot that. So yeah, that's a great point. Sarah just pointed out that
Okay.
you would
So then
in
you
real
would
time
know.
be able to
Yeah.
tell that this is real.
Okay.
Okay.
And that it's so like, it's like that's
Yeah.
us in 2nd grade. Like
Totally.
that sounded real. Like the idea that becomes a form of magic. And there's like props and setups and like different things we all have to fill out, but it's like still the same activity.
Yeah, and it does. Yeah, the more I think about it, I'm like, I think Chris Angel is funnier because it's that magic world is so that he's built is so high status
Yes.
in that like there's Drake and it's like it's always like people so beautifully dressed and like there's so much swagger.
Yes.
So the contrast with the lowest form of
Yes.
Well,
entertainment mouth farts is really funny.
Well, what I like about that version of it is that can happen in a living room that's lit a certain way, so it feels like a cocktail party.
Yes.
And then really like, you know, whoever's in it is essentially bringing something that makes them look kind of, you know, like they have some swagger, they have a fancy party, and then all of our effort goes towards making this kind of magician character.
Yeah.
Which is funny and easy to attain.
I
would say.
do know a really good comedy magician as well.
Oh.
A really good one who does stuff with celebrities as well.
Okay.
So accessible.
So Sura is delivering on the talent as well. See, Sura knows people. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like it would be in like a house or like a back room of like a fancy bar.
Yes. We can make a living room look like a bar too.
Cool.
Okay. Anyway, next time.
Okay.
Next one.
You all know that I have a love for ads. So this is what I like about this is that this is an Apple. This is a new iPhone ad that we could really use Alexi's like DP skills out in the world, that it wouldn't be bound inside. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Here's I'm just gonna present the ad with the music. Here we go. So this would be like low depth of field, like very cinematic Apple ad looking stuff, and just picture what you picture with this dialogue. At Apple, is it too loud? All right. So,
are we gonna get flagged for copyright?
For a live stream, I did.
For saying the word Apple or for a song?
For the music. No, go ahead.
Maybe because we're not presenting it as a thing.
I think they do it in the background. We're showing our ignorance here, but that's what we're doing today. We're figuring out. Also, I think currently, I'm the only one watching.
Okay,
so
great.
If it dies, it dies.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. So. All right. Here we go. All right. At Apple, we know that security is everything. That a phone, like the human heart, should only be opened by something that is uniquely you. So you see all these faces. A touch, you see the finger. A glance. And now, by the most precious thing that you possess, that silly little smile. Introducing the all-new iPhone powered by Apple's Little Smile Detector. Unlock your phone with that cheeky tiny grin that says, "I've got a secret." And then so here just be people going. Unlock your phone with that cheeky little grin that says, "I've got a secret. I've got 3 cookies instead of 1. Don't you fucking tell on me." That smile that says, "I don't like taking pictures. This is the best that I can do." That janky little overbite that says, "I did a fart, but I'm not sure why it's still so hot. Maybe it wasn't a fart at all." That precious ratty grin that is the answer to the eternal question, "Where's my little guy?" Yeah, there he is.
Great.
I mean, form is great. I like that I visually can see everything there.
And I like the justification that it's like it actually is hard for everyone to do their own little smile. So it's like, no, your iPhone, like, yeah, they can't get in because normally, like, sometimes people are like, oh, if you're sleeping, someone can still put the phone in front of your face or something. But this is like, the only way is just you have to get the little smile just right.
I do think the little smile is funny. I do wonder if it's too close to the face as it already is a little bit, like as the way that the phone, like I think there was part of me that like wanted it to go like even more absurd.
I thought you were going to pitch that it's your asshole.
I mean, that's not bad.
Yeah. I mean, I
spread your cheeks and have to.
Yeah. And so then it's everyone like, yeah. I had thought that's
right. I can pay for that. Sorry.
Sorry, I do have to. Yeah.
And so in that tone, you going, a touch, your face, and now your stinky little asshole.
I love that. And now your asshole.
What's it called? What are like
your third eye?
It's not your third eye, but your brown eye.
Brown eye.
Your brown.
Yeah. I think that's funny. I also
and now your other now.
I had also thought it would be funny. Like even if you like the human truth of being like, and now like your frustrated voice when those don't work. Like that it recognizes you being like, what the fuck?
What the fuck? There it is.
Because they don't.
Yeah, that's the human truth on it. That I have facial recognition, but to do it, you have to be like, you have to like do the deadest version of your face or whatever you recorded it with, and it doesn't even like know who I am in the mornings. So
really,
like it's like I'm like because they want you to not be able to be robbed by someone just putting it in your face, so you have to like really. Anyways,
yeah.
I do like the visual of the little smile.
Vaynblat likes the asshole idea.
Who is it? Who does?
Felipe.
Would you use it, Felipe? The difference. What I like about the asshole thing is that like you guys didn't laugh on the punch. Like I think it's the visual and how beautiful we could make it of everyone doing their own little like.
Yes.
Like that's funny to me. It's
really
visual,
funny.
But like when the punchline comes, you guys are like, okay, like let's see. Whereas like when the punchline comes of like, and now you stinky little asshole, like that's a clearer.
Yeah.
But even because even the like act out that you did of being like, give me a second. Like even that is fun.
Yes.
Like that is.
And the idea that no one's asshole looks like yours, and the idea that like the face takes too long, where it's
Yeah, don't you hate you have to wake up? You have to like actually, with this, it's always ready.
Yes.
It comes with pants.
There's something that's very simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something that's very simple and feels like it would already be on SNL of like, like
now it's your asshole.
Now it's your asshole.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of the extension of the airport jokes that we make about like, oh, what's it going to be next?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe the accessory is pants that come with a flap, so you can very easily.
That's funny.
Wait, the iPhone accessory is pants that you
that you wear, so it's very easy to take a photo of your asshole.
Wow.
With like a
Yeah. So it's just the pocket, just the pocket moves.
Also, it would be very funny.
So you can take it while you're wearing them.
It would also be funny if we've been showing all of these people looking beautiful, right? Like them walking around, showing their face with their eye and all this stuff. But then at the end, what you see is that all of them have the back cut out of their pants. So they've all been beautiful. So then when they're walking away, we would just blur out the butt, but it would just essentially be that all these like beautiful people in this Apple ad, in order to get ease to their phone, just are walking around ass out.
I feel like that's an old sketch that you wrote.
Ass out?
Something about like pants, like, and then you realize that the ass is out.
Felipe's suggestion is you call it iPlug.
Whoa, that's great.
I
Felipe Duncan in the comments, by the way.
Felipe's like, I'm in act.
He's like, hit me up.
I have a high-tech smart butt plug company, and I just need to move these things.
And I got a baby wig company.
I also, what was I gonna say? I also love the idea that we cast like all of these like naturally like beautiful looking people that would be in an iPhone ad. And then at first it's like gazing into the camera, you know, like we are all human like this.
Yeah.
But then you realize that the expressions people are doing is them trying to take the asshole picture.
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny. That's really
cool.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool.
Those are my two.
Do you have another?
Sure.
Okay, great. Yeah, I have one as well. So
go.
Well, pulling it up here. Okay. This is a rougher idea of a sketch. And I think this is probably going to fall into this is going to get the same comment that I think I've gotten each time, which is, so the comedy comes from making it sadder each time. So
I love that that's our style though, being like, no, but the thing is he's tortured.
So CJ and I just went on a friend trip, and on the friend trip, we kept it was at the beach, and which is, you know, this is an injury from the friend trip.
He slapped a bird.
I slapped the bird at the beach, and the bird won. At the beach, we started doing a thing where we would be like, last one in the water. And then instead of saying last one in the water is a rotten egg, we would just continue to speak and like improvise and to see where it would go. Okay. So it would be something along the lines of, and nothing is terrible. Like none of them scenarios are bad, but it's just kind of like an existential moment. So we would be saying things like, last one in the water starts a dentistry practice. And it's pretty good. But the whole time you're like, this is not what I love. This is not what I expected. But like business is booming. You're the number one dentistry guy. But the whole time you're like, I love art. So last one in the water has that happen. So we were doing scenarios of that sort that we could improvise. So knowing that, I imagined this would take place in like a backyard. It's like a friend trip. It's after a day at the beach. Everyone is sitting there, and they do like a cheers to the friend trip, you know, or whatever. And then the guy, he's like, I'm gonna go wash my hands. I'll be right back. And when he leaves, one of you is like, is he okay? Like, he just seems like kind of off. And then, and everyone's like, what do you mean? And we're like, well, earlier he said, last one in the water. And then you could just improvise in the moment to see like where it goes. We could also play with split screens where, as you're saying it, we could show the guy like mouthing the thing you said, you know? But then we can keep coming up with these scenarios, like where we're just saying this around, very easy to shoot. He comes back out, but I'm sorry. So somebody's just like, yeah, he's clearly just like going through something. Just like, be nice, humor, just play along. It's fine. So then when he comes out, the whole time we've been passing out salad onto a plate. So then as he comes back out, someone's like, hey, last one to get salad has like just a kind of strained relationship with their kid, you know, like their kid, like you're proud of who their kid is, but they're just, you know, they're just like, something's off. We can't find common ground. But everyone has their salad, and the guy's just like, fuck! Like it's like they think they're playing along.
Wait, because it's true of him?
No, I think it's just whatever it is, where it's like last one to get your salad. They think they're playing along, but he's taking it seriously. He's clearly the one who has his last salad. So whatever the last one is, he's just devastated.
Great.
Like, so what I like about this is I think it would be easy to shoot. It's very, very tell, don't show, which is the problem with it. But I also think it would essentially mean, I think in some ways it's like, to use an improv phrase. It's kind of like pimping the other person to have to like lip sync the thing that you're saying. So like you're improvising and you're saying whatever, and then later with like a green screen, if we're just like, well, you heard when he was getting in the car, or whatever, or we're like at the beach or something. So then there's like they're saying it on half of the screen, and the other half is then him being like mouthing the words, and then it would just be like a fun friend hangout in the back. So
I think that's great.
Okay.
The thing that I miss about how we were doing it as we were running into the water is last one into the water is such a
rush
phrase.
Uh-huh.
It's such a phrase.
Yeah.
So like we almost never say like last one to get your salad. So I wonder like, is there also from a production point of view, like instead of doing it in the backyard, could we do it in a hiking fake setup, like in Prospect Park?
Oh, that's interesting.
Like last one to the top. Like that's such a clear.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, that's very interesting. Sarah's given us possibly.
Yeah. Not on sticks, or we need permits.
What'd you say?
I said if we're not doing it on sticks, because then we'll need permits.
Oh yeah.
So it would have to be handheld, you're saying? Okay.
But it lets us get the like friendship of like, I'm so glad we like took a like I'm so glad we went on this hike.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
It like complicates the logistics of the shoot, but actually putting it in that conveys the actual moment of the rush, of which is like part of the funny thing is you're like running to the water.
It's a joyous, simple thing.
Yeah.
We're all racing to the top. We're all running to the water.
Yeah.
Question on that logistically. For the part that's kind of split screen, would that require a second location?
So Sarah's question was, if we did the split screen idea, would that require a second location? I guess that's something we could talk about. I think I was imagining.
Specifically for the hiking thing.
Yeah, I mean, I was imagining in an ideal world, if we had like 2 days, which we do not, the second day is just like going to a second location and just like filming all of those things. I think in this one, if we could do this at like a Prospect Park, in which that's the afternoon and the morning is like the people sitting around the table being worried about the guy, or it could just be. But if the question is for the split screen, does it have to be 2 different locations? I don't think it like necessarily does, but I mean, there's a way we'd have to somehow cheat the background, but if it was punched in enough, on the person, it would really just be an issue of lighting where it's like, does it look like they're at the beach? Does it look like they're, but I think.
Yeah, the constraint was more it's happening in one day. If 2 locations, it's going to get harder, but if you can imagine it happening.
In the same place, yeah. So because it's a 1 day sketch, that's definitely a concern. Okay. Yeah, I think it's helpful. Go ahead.
Which also, I like. We haven't pitched this way before about being like it has to be a day and the limits of it is nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one's called CSI No Bad Ideas, and it would be shot in the style of a crime procedural, like a Law and Order or an SVU or a CSI. And you would open on a living room and there'd be like a dead body at the bottom of the stairs. There'd be like the little card set up by the forensic tech. And then one of the forensic techs would be like taking photos of the crime scene. Let's say that's Natasha, or no, let's say that's you. The odd person would be played by anyone. So let's say it's you taking photos of the crime scene and it's us talking through
the detective.
We're the detectives. Like we're talking through the scene. So it's like it's us looking at sort of there's a shattered plate on the ground, there's some blood spatter by the stairs. Natasha's like, I think the victim must have heard a sound of the door being opened, come down, realize that the burglar was inside, I think here is where the victim tries to run back up. Perp grabs them. There's a struggle. That would explain the blood splatter. And I'm like, yes, perfect. That would explain the blood splatter. And then I'm saying, okay, and that would explain the plate down here. But how do we account for this? And Natasha's like, I think they struggled to the floor. And there, that is where the statue used to be, blunt object to the head, right? And then James is just taking pictures in the background and goes, or maybe it's about the sandwich. And we're like, what's that? Maybe the fight was about the sandwich that he was eating. And we're like, what sandwich? The plate is empty. He's like, that's what I'm saying. If you look, there's a few crumbs. Mm-hmm. There might have been a sandwich there. And just go with me here. Maybe the smell of that sandwich is wafting up through the air, wafts out of the skylight. Burglars on the street, gets lifted by the smell, sort of like a Pepe Le Pew situation, comes in through the skylight. It's sandwich time. And we're like, yeah.
It's like, I guess it's not impossible, but I don't think that's likely.
All right, I'm just saying, no bad ideas.
Okay, yeah, we'll consider it. But yeah, maybe let's. Right.
Anyways, so this is, do we think that they're known to them? Because this suggests like a crime of passion, somebody that,
of course,
you know.
There's several, yes.
He'd be casing the joint for days.
Well, no, because earlier you said maybe he just heard the smell and walked in.
No, well, I'm just saying, yes, and maybe they knew each other. Yes, and maybe he was outside.
Okay.
And had been casing the joint for days because he steals sandwiches, right? So he makes himself small, comes up through the sewer.
What do you mean makes himself
sort of
small?
Mario style. Again, there's no bad ideas here, right, guys? We're all a team.
Like, also, you stopped taking photos.
Yeah,
and it's like also
as a team member, you were supposed to just be taking photos.
Also to specify, but we're a team, but we are the detectives.
Right.
It is your job to take the photos.
Yeah.
And the
no one
evidence
comes up Mario style. Like, I don't even
Not
know
yet.
that.
Not yet.
Okay. So
but if you could get yourself small, Mario style, get yourself into a drain, you can get up anywhere you want.
I wish we had.
Have you seen how a drain looks?
Yeah.
You get 4, 5, 6 people.
What?
You've seen a drain with all the little holes?
Yeah.
Imagine if men could get themselves Mario style, you get 6, 8, 10 people.
You're saying 6 or 8, 10 people got here.
I don't know. I'm just saying at this point we are brainstorming. We're looking at the evidence of what we see.
Okay.
Right.
I don't know why you guys are negating me.
I'm sorry. Does this have anything to do with the improv classes you've been taking?
201.
Amazing. Amazing.
This is, I've taken 201. I think I invite you guys to the 101 recital, and none of you know it.
We couldn't say I have this job.
Well, anyways.
That's a perfect justification because now I'm like, now I know how to play the rest of the scene.
Right? And it's like, and then the idea that the absurd character starts peeling off members too by being like, come on, get up for a second. So picture I'm sort of rappelling down, sort of Mission Impossible style, or I'm coming up Mario style, right? And then you're like, great. And then I'm making a big sandwich over here, right? Because it's like you also took improv at like a corporate police thing, like when you were responding to like allegations of police brutality. We all had to take a corporate police improv thing. And then the idea that like we're playing out full scenes like detectives would, or in this situation the odd characters playing out full scenes with you, and then like you're editing the scene and
you're getting blood stains. Yeah, that's great.
I say come back into frame.
That's great.
I particularly like the justification of an improv class or even like an improv group training if they all had to take it so that there is an understanding pretty quickly. Right away.
Yes.
You guys took the corporate training.
If you come to one of our shows, you'd see it. Get this. We're called Science Laser.
Isn't that good?
Isn't that pretty good?
Yeah.
We're doing stuff that's off the chart.
You get it?
because it's a laser and it's scientific.
Yeah.
You've seen improv before? I'm not talking the Drew Carey short form stuff. I'm talking full 45-minute one scene. We do 45 minutes, one scene, 7 locations.
No tag outs though.
No tag outs.
No tag outs.
Tag outs. That's
She knows. We took the training.
Yeah.
okay.
After the Ramirez case, you know,
Yeah.
how we covered up the evidence on that. We had to take a court mandated improv.
Yeah, I think that's really fun.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm
right.
into
I think the leaning into the improv side of that is like suddenly it feels like it's something you can like hold on to.
Like it's not just someone being absurd.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
I also like the idea that the nature of the CSI is improv. Like it is just
That's
imagining scenarios
Yeah.
and you being hurt about like you guys were making a whole scene.
Yes.
I wanted to contribute to it, and it felt like everything I was bringing to the scene, you guys were saying is bad.
And it's like, yeah, as far as like team building, that's not going to work. As far as like, group dynamic, that's not going to work. So
Yeah. We may solve this case, but it feels like the culture of the team is not good.
Let's decide on a sketch.
So I put it in the group chat, and Gabby,
Mhm.
Gabby, who knows who?
Gabby, Felipe, these are just
Random
fans.
CSI
Yes, just random
brainstorming
people.
got a heart.
Said what?
CSI brainstorming got a heart.
Great.
Okay.
Great.
From probably
Heart means that they like it or that they have a crush on.
I think the heart is associated with CSI.
Great.
But it's impossible to know. But that's,
And to be clear,
It could be both.
the working title of the sketch is CSI No Bad Ideas.
I'm just reading what Gabby
Okay,
wrote.
cool.
CSI improv training is great.
They're running on they're editing on the carpet.
Coming up Mario style is so funny.
And calling in people, investigators that we haven't seen.
Gives a suggestion.
And you see the investigators are on the sides.
That's funny.
Gabby responded, crush, duh.
Wow.
Okay.
The sketch
Cool.
does crush.
Okay.
Do we write them down? Do we just want to make a list? Like, what's the best way for us to make this decision?
Can we get a quick, just like a reminder for our viewers, just top line, sketch 1, 2, 3, whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
We had fracking the board game.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We've got a Tesla stole my wife.
Wow.
Auto-driving car stole my wife. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I love that one so much.
Yeah, that's high on the list for sure. And then CJ, your first one was
Natasha thinks that the baby's
Baby
gonna
wigs.
be
Baby
hot,
wigs. Baby wigs.
aka baby.
Baby Wigs. Then we had
Jungle Emporium.
Jungle Emporium Furniture.
Mm-hmm. Close Up Magic Farts.
Yeah.
It's yes. We're just listing them now. We're not making a case for them.
We're just listening to them. And then the Apple, the iPlug.
iPlug. Thank you, Felipe.
And then
And
last
the
one to the water.
Yeah.
And then CSI improv training.
Wow, this was fun.
Okay.
Maybe let's eliminate the ones that were like, this feels not doable production wise
Great.
for one day. Maybe Sarah, do you want to just do that for us?
Are there any of those, Sarah, that you're like?
Oh yeah, or maybe give us the ones that feel the easiest to make.
Okay. Yeah, the easiest to make, I feel, could be CSI brainstorming.
Okay, maybe circle that. Mm-hmm.
The reason for that is it's in one location and
Yeah.
you can contain it to even one spot
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and not a lot of tasks.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
The town hall.
Tesla.
Yeah, I agree. One location.
That's a good time.
Uh-huh.
I think the asshole one could work as well.
Yep.
gives Alexi also ability to be very creative stylistically. Alexi's our DP. I don't know if anyone can hear me.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone can hear, but so far Sarah has said her favorite ones are the CSI improv training, the auto driving car stole my wife, and then the asshole to unlock an iPhone, which
AKA Apple iPlug
and
or iPhone rim recognition.
That's good.
yeah, and
like it's the regular iPhone, it just has rim recognition.
It has rim recognition.
And we can just have like a raised, anyways.
yeah.
God, that's so funny.
I
Okay.
can't remember the others.
The other ones I think that seemed potentially doable because they were one location would be possibly Close-Up Magic, but for farts. Jungle Emporium as commercials could be, like essentially be done all in one place, and then the other two, Fracking the Board Game and Baby Wigs, would take not a different location, but a lot of like
Baby Wigs has a lot of people as well.
Yeah.
And then we'd need gifts, and we'd need so.
Well, the good thing about that is you wouldn't need to dress the space. You would just need to like get a bunch of boxes and wrap them, and that the people is probably just like 7
So it's like
people. Like the actual shoot isn't multiple. It's just like a group and singles. So there's something that is simple about that.
And it's as feasible as the Daddy's Blessing. The amount
Right.
Yeah.
The hardest part is the making of a bunch of small wigs.
Yeah, that'll.
It feels like something you would have already.
I mean, I have so many adult wigs. If only I could shrink them down.
Yeah, the technology's not there.
It's just not there.
It's just not there yet. We've tried. Comedically, are there any of these that you, either comedically or creatively, are there any of these that you are particularly excited about? That you can see, or that you're like, that would be fun to make?
I will say this for, it's our second sketch. So what I like is that like we have all this firepower in Alexi in terms of like what a great cinematographer he is. So I'm like, the idea of Apple iPlug as
Rim
recognition that like it's just such a clear shot list.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's not multiple takes of stuff of like, oh, how did that like it's not even fully improvised. It's like we just write a really tight script and we're like, all right, we need 5 people and we need like being able, so there's like a technical ability to like let him rip on that.
Yeah.
I agree.
There's an ability to like dig into how much I love ads and like coming up with the creative and what the ad could be, and us like being in our bag watching Apple ads. And then there's also something that's like your thing with like cinema and like the music or however we would do that. That is also a challenge though that you said about music. We're gonna have to.
Well, we couldn't use the thing that you gave.
Yeah, I think we'd have to do the thing like in your album, like we'd have to do copyright free or ask.
I think we do copyright free.
Yeah. Cool. So anyway, but for the dichotomy, Apple iPlug
there's like a whole genre of music that is just like corporate.
Yes.
And we could find something.
I can see the ease of that and the like reward on that is high, but the one that makes me laugh the most is auto driving car stole my life.
Yeah. I agree.
And I like that like part of our thinking is also like who are our friends who could really kill in this. And so the idea of like it feels closer to like one of your shorts of like who are the 10-person audience that we want and who's the car rep.
I know from our genius cinematographer and producer.
We're getting a note from our genius DP cinematographer.
You said CSI or Autocar might be the most fun to watch for streaming purposes in terms of the improv opportunities.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So we'll also be live streaming the
Gosh, that's such a great
filming
point.
of the sketches as well. So considering that, and the Apple one would be the worst one for the streaming.
A lot of time between setups.
Yeah.
Well, and it would be in other places, so we wouldn't have like consistent Wi-Fi.
Yes.
So if that's the angle, that would make that one harder.
I really like both. Frankly, all three that you've highlighted, but the CSI improv training is fun because it's only the ease of it is like all we need is the three of us, so that like we could we know that can be done. The only thing about the self-driving is, we just need a bigger cast.
Yeah.
And as far as location-wise, like where would you imagine filming it for it to look good?
And on July 13th, right? Like that's soon.
Yeah.
So the idea of like being like we do CSI improv training next and auto driving car can be something that we're planning for September or something, and gives us more time to like source the location.
I kind of like if it's just the three of us, because then it's just like as we continue to learn what this is, it might be best.
I mean, I think the only thing with the auto driving cars, it's like, I think if we had a living room, and there's a way to get like the issue would become chairs, but I do think that like most living room spaces or something could look like we could cheat it like.
Yeah. That we could find a living room space that like there's a version of this where if we were a tightly knit suburb, it would be like, you guys, I'm making appetizers and come over.
Yeah.
And I know there's been a lot of concerns about
the community board. Yeah.
Yes, a community board meeting or like a condo association.
Yeah.
And so I could see opening shot being like more deviled eggs. No. I want to hear from the expert, and be like, hello everyone, my name is Matt, I'm from Google.
Yeah. And there's something fun. Like I would love to get Henrik back. I would love to get Tim Platt back. Like there is something really fun about.
Yeah, I'm excited by the larger cast because I do think it would be fun to do, and I think people would be excited to do it. I do think that even as we're talking about like the set, that is the question here is like, how do we make it look like something that's believable? Because then if it's a big tech company, like they probably would make this look really nice. It would look chic in a certain way, but
not if it's in community.
Yeah,
right.
It's just a spokesperson coming to speak to the community.
Yeah. Like, hey, I just wanted to come to the Ridgedale Block Association because,
exactly.
As you know, we're rolling out self-driving in the neighborhood.
Chargers or whatever, and some of you are concerned.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I have
about the influx of self-driving cars.
I have a spot in the basement of my building. That is where they would like have meetings. I don't know if we can film there, but and internet would not be good, which would be the issue for this live streaming.
I can totally picture that's where it would be.
But the room would look like it would probably, it would work well for this. And it would all be one location. But there would be some other questions around internet and I need to make sure that that's something I could do.
Has everyone seen Her?
Yeah.
Totally unrelated to the movie Her. I like the idea that there could be a turn in the self-driving car. I'm trying to think of height.
Oh, sure.
Right? So it's like, how can we cast our friends in ways that don't just require them to be a straight person?
Yeah.
So it's like,
that's true too.
The idea that deep into this, with this absurd man, we realize that the self-driving car has stolen other people's partners or is in the process of wooing other people's.
Or they could just get turned, or they could just become more concerned.
Yes.
If they're becoming riled up about this.
Yes.
A couple could get in a fight.
I forget my wife's birthday sometimes. And the car's probably going to remember it's got a Google Calendar. Is that going to, is that going to?
Driving is how my husband has his alone time. And I've never asked myself what he does with his alone time, but the idea that it's just the two of them and the Google rep being like, guys, it's not just the two of them. That's, he's driving a car.
Right. Yeah.
Or it's driving him. I don't know anymore.
To me, this one.
Not driving.
The comedy of this one is the clearest to me. Like
the self-driving car.
The self-driving car, the comedy is the clearest to me.
Okay.
The game is the clearest. It just has some like production questions to me. And the CSI one is funny.
Yeah. But
part of the appeal of that one is we could do that almost anywhere.
Yes.
Like we could do it right here. We could do it anywhere. You know, like so.
And does it feel CSI feels a little basic almost, right? It's like a little like Key and Peele era, like the game is simple. Like this guy wants to just. Does it feel like that to anyone?
Yes, but the self-driving car feels like that too. That feels
Like
simple.
a live stream, bringing back some of the familiar faces from the original sketch that we did might be a good thing in general, because even as we're setting up like scenes, you're seeing people you saw already, and like they're talking in the corner, they're we get the slow claps again. That's a wrap.
Yeah. Okay.
That could have momentum in a way that just the three of you might not.
Yeah.
I think that the joy of watching the auto-driving one and just the like performances that could exist within that does feel like it would build better and it would be more textured than the CSI one, which I think, to me, it's like, I think we could certainly build that, and I think it's funny, but I do think it's like, at some point I think it would be like, okay, I get the world, I get the genre, I get the game. Yeah, I get it.
And honestly, it feels a little topical. It's like that is in the, like, people are talking more about like these self-driving taxis and stuff. So it's like just for.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Even in releasing the sketch, the angle being like our fears about self-driving cars.
Yeah.
Are true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
really fun.
Alexi, does that one sound like an okay choice?
They both sound great.
Okay. Sarah, sounds okay?
Are we gonna choose now, or is it gonna be like find out July 13th?
I think we can say it now, so that people will come back to watch that sketch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Do we want to decide?
Yes.
Okay. Auto-driving cars. Stole my
my
life.
Stole my life.
Coming to you.
I love that.
Title.
Wow. I love that even the title makes me go, why?
Yeah. Okay. Great. Well, thanks for tuning in. We will be back on this same channel July 13th. I believe if you subscribe, you'll get notifications for that. We will film the sketch. We'll figure out all the details, and you can watch us making that. You can watch whatever we cast, and you can see how that part of the process is also made. Yeah?
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, this is so fun.
Yeah, this is great. Thank you. Thanks to Alexi and Sarah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
And everyone, drive your own car. Like, just from a safety point of view, until we know like what the
Unless
deal
you're ready
is.
to get involved emotionally, drive your own car.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
We didn't want to end on like a sort of stern, sour political note, but like until we know the realm, the extent of what they're doing in our relationships.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm writing this down. That feels like a good thing for the script for someone to say.
Yeah.
Let's just take it easy. Like, there's a lot of debate about what is true and what is not true about self-driving cars. We're just asking the question.
The stream is ending in 5.
Yeah, let's do it.
4,